Closed captioning for the Casey Malone Show is sponsored by Hunter Stevens Land Title Agency. Integrity, service, and commitment you can trust.
Oh yeah, Casey Malone is serving up local. It's time for the stories of our region, the tastes, the sights, the sounds, and the people in and around the valley. Get ready for some local flavor on the Casey Malone Show.
Today, it's a mind-boggling collection of dolls, and I prepare a beloved Easter dessert, ricotta pineapple pie. But first, you need some toys to go with that candy? Check out the addition at Sweet Memories Vintage Teas and Candy. Well, you remember Linda Barton from Sweet Memories Vintage, and it was all began with the t-shirt, the Good Humor t-shirt.
Yep.
And you see how it's expanded. And we're here doing a little update because things have really turned around even more. But before we go there, you are about to present a check.
So $5 off every t-shirt benefits charities. So our Isley's ice cream and candy lines all benefit Akron's Children's NICU Clinic. And just last year alone, we raised over $22,000 for them, bringing our total since COVID to $47,000.
That is unbelievable. And I mean, 25 is a very fair price. And then, you know, 5 of it goes right here in our community.
Yep.
But you can't just stop it. You can't help yourself, can you?
No, I get
It's the candy bug, so she gets all these crazy candies that we can't find that are retro. And now you have bought the whole other unit right next door, and we have gone crazy in Toyland.
I realize that as people are in the store, they're talking about all the memories that they had,
Right.
you know, with candy. And I remember someone saying, oh, I remember, you know, Friday night I used to play Parcheesi, and, you know, we used to eat these snacks and this and that. And then I just thought natural transition is toys.
Ta-da! This is the big reveal. Is it just as much work to go after all these old retro toys and games as it was to find those, you know,
It was
vintage
harder.
candies?
It was much harder because with the candy side, I was wholesaling my t-shirts to candy stores all over the United States. So I already had relationships with candy stores, and they were directing me where they got this, where they
Right.
got that. There aren't any independent toy stores around anymore. There was no one to really network with. So I went online and I researched the top 10 most popular toys per decade, going back to 1940. Put it in a Google spreadsheet. I decided in August I was going to open a toy store. So I did this in September. Then I went to New York to the toy show, and I was like, what do you have on this list? And if you don't have it, who does? And I spent a week in New York, and then we opened in November. It was really interesting because after I explained to a lot of these, you know, companies, I'm like,
Right.
listen, like I'm opening a toy store as an addition to my candy store, and I have licensing with Good Humor and Unilever and Breyers and Popsicle.
Right.
And, you know, and after I'm going down the list of the 75 different brands, and they took me more seriously, but it was just really, they're like, oh, well, you have to be prepared to spend $1,000. I'm like, I was prepared to spend $200,000, but, you know, like, you know, it was very demeaning. So it was kind of a challenge. And I think that was one of the first times, you know, as a buyer in that situation that, you know, I was like,
I had to put on your big girl
yeah,
pants and say,
like
hey,
women
man.
own business. I was like Rosie Riveter, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
What would have been one of the harder games or puzzles or things that you really had the most trouble getting?
I haven't found strawberry shortcake dolls. They don't make them, but they're going to be coming out. And that was one of the things that I wasn't even, like her prototypes were behind a curtain. I wasn't even allowed in, you know? So
Wow.
that's one of the things that's interesting is like how they, you know, all the big buyers have to come in first. They buy up their containers, and then after mass market buys, then they let the specialty markets buy. It's
But that
interesting.
is a very fond memory for a lot of people.
Strawberry shortcake, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And the original Slinky,
Right.
you know, I found that.
That is cool.
Yeah, I found Shrinky Dinks, which you know,
Right.
you really can't find.
My sisters and I used to make those
Yep.
all the time.
And a lot of the board games that we have, these are the retro packaging. So,
Right, these-
and even with the Operation one that we have, there's the vintage one, the nostalgic version, and then they have the newer version that's like cartoon characters and things. So I really tried to stay, you know, original to the packaging.
More authentic,
Yeah.
Do you think, you know, that you might have been born in the wrong era? Do you
Yeah.
think maybe you should have been born you know, in the 50s and 60s. You really have such a good knowledge and a good eye for all these things I'm here. And it is memory overload.
Yeah.
Everything I'm looking at, you know, I was telling you my sister smashed a Etch-a-Sketch over my head. It's here.
A lot of people in the community are really passionate about supporting our store.
Right.
And, you know, just for an example, we had a guy that came in over the weekend and he donated to me the original Evel Knievel. We sell Evel Knievel here, but he wanted to donate something. And so all around the store, I have things that are up on the shelves where people just come in and they donate stuff because
Like
they
a
want
museum.
to be. Yeah, and I thought it was super cool, but you know, people really love to come
This
in.
is in really good shape.
Yeah.
Very cool. What
So-
a cool guy. That was
Yeah,
really
Jay
nice.
Shonk. Yeah, I was really.
Thanks, Jay. That was
yeah.
very cool. I'm giving you a hot tip. Beanie Babies are back. So they are back and they're doing the limited edition stuff.
So they release 3 new retro ones every 2 months. So.
And are you seeing the collectors coming in and are they collecting them just like they used to?
It's crazy. I just shipped out 10 Beanie Babies the other day.
And how are the puzzles going?
We
Because
sell
you've got a ton of puzzles.
So, you know, we've moved the puzzles around because there's been so many, but you know, we have all the vintage ads ones. Like, this is my favorite things my parents used to say.
Right,
You know,
right,
it's
right.
like, don't make me cut, you know, don't make me turn the car
turn
around.
this car around.
Right. So, but we sell a lot of the White Mountain puzzles. We also have the 3D puzzles, and we moved it over by the Legos because we were finding that people buy Legos also are
like
puzzle
those
people.
puzzle
Yeah,
people.
So, and what's crazy is like when you think about those memories, like you think about who you were with. It's not even the toy.
Right,
It's, you know,
right.
oh, I remember I used to play puzzles with my Aunt Ida. You know, she would come over and I would come out with my little puzzle and she, you know, so it's not about the toy, it's about the memories you created with the people that you love that were in your life.
You've got Gumby and Pokey. You've got all these action, and this is the
Yeah.
pop culture wall. And you are just going to go down memory lane again and again. I can't believe all the stuff you have. The Marvel characters,
This is this one was one of our most popular
emotional support
chickens.
chicken.
Yeah.
You know what? I can't do this place justice. Yeah, I'm just telling you, you've got to come out and see it for yourself to believe it. You're going to eat good candy, drink excellent soda pop, and die in toy heaven. I really appreciate it, Linda. This place is awesome.
When I want local flavor, I watch the Casey Malone Show.
We are getting close. Scabba Camp is almost here. A year-round destination for adults with disabilities and their families to get away, close to home. Accessible to all, with no barriers. Donate now to Gabba Camp. Help others to enjoy this unique recreational destination. For adults with disabilities and their families to enjoy an accessible camping experience. Donate to Gabba Camp. Giving is living.
Locally owned, Hurricane Health and Wellness will help you weather the storm of your weight loss struggles. Safe and discreet, our experienced telemed team will prescribe the proper weight loss medication. Powerful weight loss solutions. Hurricane Health and Wellness.
For over 75 years, Kamara Jewelers has been the destination for quality jewelry. Our collection has a piece for everyone, in every occasion. Whether you're starting a new chapter, celebrating a milestone, or showing appreciation for the special people in your life, you can find a piece that reflects your love. At Kamara, we're about timelessness. Our jewelry isn't just for special occasions, it's for everyday moments that deserve a touch of elegance.
Rulli Brothers has a great choice of quality cheeses. We use our relationship with Old World Houses to specially select the product and then have it custom cut and packaged by our own local artisans. At Rulli Brothers Market, our family is in the store.
You better come on in my kitchen.
Well, the Casey Malone Show is having a kitchen vacation. What do you think about the new digs?
We are going to do some cooking today in McCabe and Chrissy Patrick's brand new kitchen. When I saw this thing, I said, you guys better let me cook a couple dishes in here. And in honor of Easter, I'm going to make a pineapple ricotta pie. I love ricotta pie, and at Easter time, my Italian friends always make them for me. And I grabbed this recipe, and I've made this the last few years. This is from the Greater Italian Fest, and they were celebrating their 25th anniversary. So I got this when they were selling them downtown, and this lovely woman, Vivian Corso Cormel, makes an excellent ricotta pineapple pie. The only variation is she makes her own crust, and I'm using a store-bought 9-inch graham cracker crust. But everything else, the ingredients are hers and to her specifications. So let's get started and make this ricotta pineapple pie. For this recipe, you'll need a pre-made 9-inch graham cracker crust, 1/2 cup of sugar, 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, 15 ounces of ricotta cheese, 2 eggs, 1/2 cup of heavy cream, 1 teaspoon of lemon zest, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, a 20-ounce can of crushed pineapple and heavy syrup, 1/4 cup of sugar, 1 tablespoon of cornstarch, and 2 teaspoons of lemon juice. Now the pineapple for this ricotta pie is not in the pie, it is actually in the topping. So the recipe calls for crushed pineapple, a 20-ounce can. And since the topping goes on last, I found that the heavy syrup rather than the juice works better for this recipe. So before we get started, I am going to drain the heavy syrup from the crushed pineapple. So I'm going to use a whole milk ricotta cheese, 15-ounce container that comes right out. And then I'm going to add the 1/2 cup of heavy whipping cream, the granulated sugar, the 2 eggs, the vanilla. We use the cornstarch twice in this recipe, but the 2 tablespoons go in at the beginning. And then she calls for the lemon zest. And I found that the amount she called for is actually 1 lemon. Well, I've already preheated McCabe's oven to 350 degrees. And you know how I love my immersion blender. Well, the first few times I made this, I used the regular hand mixer, and it worked out fine. Well, the last few times I've made this, I used my immersion blender, and it doesn't add as much air, and I didn't have as many bubbles, and it was actually smoother and creamier. So I'm gonna use it again, and it's less to clean up. So all you have to do is use the immersion blender and just stir this together. I know it looks like a mess, but once you get it all mixed together with the egg and the cream and the ricotta, it smooths down really nicely, and you just pour this mixture into the pre-made 9-inch pan. I'm gonna put this in the 350 degree oven for 50 minutes, and the edges will get a golden brown, and the center will still be a bit jiggly. So over medium heat, you're going to add the juice of 1 lemon, and that's the lemon I just zested. And see, look at, this is all the syrup that came out of that can of pineapple. And it's really about a cup. So I'm only gonna use half of this. So I'm gonna pour half of this in, and I can't see. So I'm gonna pour 1/2 cup in, and the other half you're just gonna have to drink or do something else with. And then you add the cornstarch. And then what we're gonna do is warm this up and keep stirring it until it becomes thick. All right, see how it's not liquidy anymore, and see how it's like a nice syrup. See how it sticks to the spoon? All right. So now I'm just going to turn off the burner. And now I'm going to add the drained pineapple. I'm just going to mix this together until it all combines. And then I'm just going to leave it here and let it get to room temperature. Wait for the pie to come out of the oven. And then everything will cool to room temperature before we assemble it. Cover it and refrigerate it for at least an hour, but actually I think overnight is best. Well, Chrissy, cheers. Thank you for letting me use your kitchen.
I really never wanted to use the kitchen.
Well, you know what? The manager on duty said I could use it.
I
And
know.
McCabe,
I just am here for his
Exactly.
pleasure. What are we enjoying?
isn't this delicious?
I didn't try it.
It is, it's a cava from Spain, Galita.
Oh, that is really
Kenny
good.
said we were going to enjoy it.
I love that, Ken. And then we cheers to Viv for the
Yeah,
great
and
recipe.
Vivian. Now, you haven't tasted it yet.
I know.
I've already had this like 5 times.
You already ate it.
Well, I've been making it. Tell me what you think.
Oh, wow. That's
Isn't that
really
delicious?
good.
So to Vivian,
Yeah, what you're doing,
to
Vivian.
Christine, and to McCabe, go to my website, CaseyMaloneShow.com, for this ricotta pineapple pie recipe.
Yummy.
Cheers. The Casey Malone Show will be right back with more local flavor. Locally sourced is good, whether it's ingredients or a bank, and that's why my bank is Farmers National Bank. Since 1887, Farmers has remained rock solid through every economic condition. Having a bank with a history of safety, soundness, and conservative management is a must. It all boils down to this. You need a bank that will help you reach your goals. I do too, and Farmers is mine. Farmers National Bank, rock solid.
I'm Elizabeth Bernard. For more than 30 years, I've provided our Valley with sound legal advice. My associate Jennifer Rigetti and I will be your legal representatives if you're involved in a car, truck, or motorcycle accident. Don't try to handle it yourself. We'll navigate the red tape of dealing with doctors, medical insurance, and all the obstacles that you'll face. Remember, there are no upfront fees on personal injury cases, and hiring a lawyer does not mean you have to go to court.
Call attorney Elizabeth Bernard, local legal experience for more than 30 years.
Rulli Brothers is way ahead of the competition. Check out Rulli Spice World, where you can buy bulk herbs and spices, plus candies, nuts, and fillings for pennies on the dollar. At Rulli Brothers Market, our family is in the store.
It's happening now. Construction is underway at GABA-Camp, a year-round destination for adults with disabilities and their families to get away, close to home, accessible to all, with no barriers. Donate now to GABA-Camp. Giving is living.
Well, I'm here with Carolyn Merrifield, and I've got to tell you, when your daughter Sue called me, she said that you really had a doll collection that was something else. But it's not a doll collection. It is way more than dolls. You don't live here. This is your dollhouse, literally.
Right.
It's overwhelming. From the basement to the attic, you are loaded for bear. What was your very first doll that really made you fall in love with dolls?
I liked dolls from the very beginning, but my first one was a nun doll.
A nun?
Yeah.
Sister Agnes, right.
4 years old, I got it. They passed it around at the dinner table and to show everybody. but I wasn't allowed to touch it. So, so it didn't get messed up.
Oh, it was one of those,
Yes.
yes, a really nice doll, not a play with doll.
No, I think it's when I really started was 1985 when the Cabbage Patch doll came out.
Oh boy,
Yes. Couldn't buy them. You had to go hunt for them.
Right, I can remember everybody was on the lookout. They were up in Cleveland, we're in Youngstown. Everyone's waiting for the stores to open. How many Cabbage Patches do you think you have?
Oh, 2,000 maybe?
30 dollhouses.
No, 60.
60. I'm sorry, 60. I cut them in half.
60. I started in 92 when my husband had passed away. He had bought me a dollhouse for Christmas. And I kept that took care of and enjoyed that dollhouse, the first one.
Right.
And that's the one right in the dining room there.
Okay. Oh, it looks like the White House.
Yes.
It looks like an antebellum mansion. Mm-hmm. You upcycle a lot of stuff.
Yes. I just buy everything little that, and I say, oh, I can make that into something. And I come home and I make something out of it.
How often do you come here and rearrange and start making things? Puzzles?
Oh, yes. I come about every other day or so, just to check on it. Well, I want to make sure that everything is okay and there's no flooding or anything like that.
Would be, especially that basement. It's adorable what you have down there. And I noticed you're really big with Frozen.
Yes.
Why does Frozen
I just think the movie was so interesting and how it captured each other and made one well.
And you are a traveler.
Well,
you like to go.
Yes,
and
very
some
much
of your favorite destinations are.
Well, I've been to Brazil, and I've been to 10 countries in Europe, and then 2 years ago, we went to Japan.
Yeah.
And then we took a road trip to San Francisco by a tent camping. So.
Well, you are quite adventuresome. You mentioned Brazil.
Yes.
And you were there as part of the Peace Corps.
Yes. We went for 3 months for language in Oklahoma. And then we went to Brazil. And I lived there 21 months.
You were 19 years old. Mm-hmm. President Kennedy was still our president. You were there in the 60s. Mm-hmm. Did he get assassinated while you were in Brazil?
Yes. We thought maybe we might go home at that time, and they said no. We got it on a shortwave radio.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What did you do for the people of the towns and villages?
I was in 4-H. They didn't have water that was clean and that. And so we kind of got them to filter it and do things like that to it. And so it was an experience.
You had a taste for adventure. You really liked to go.
I started out in college at Ohio State. And I told my parents that I wasn't interested in book learning. And I says, I want to do something different. So I went and took the test for it, and I applied, and I was out to Oklahoma for 3 months.
Wow, that is really cool. And this is one of your favorite dolls.
Oh, yes.
Tell me about this guy.
My dad got me this one. He was in the service. He was in the Army.
Oh, yeah.
In 1945.
Okay, this guy, it looks like he's been around a little bit.
He has a boo-boo eye.
What are your plans? Do your grandchildren, your daughter? I mean, what are you going to do with all this
stuff? They're going to go to children after I pass away. My daughter's supposed to take them to the hospital and give them to children.
Sue Knepper is the one who turned me on to your mother's collection. And you're very tolerant.
Yes.
And I think you encourage it because I've seen some things that you have bought for her. You're like, oh, and it's the whole collection.
Yeah.
And do you also collect anything?
No. I refuse.
You live a very monk-like existence, nothing extra. Yes. What kind of gifts did you get growing up since your mom was such a fan?
All my life I had dolls. All my life. Every year I got a new baby doll, whatever was popular. I got the roller skating doll. And they're probably all here somewhere.
I'm sure they are.
Yeah.
What was your favorite? Do you remember?
It was called the Tubsy doll, and she went into the bathtub. And
into the tub.
And then what's funny is when my oldest daughter got a Tubsy doll, I remember giving it to her for Christmas, and she running around, I've got the bathtub doll, I've got the bathtub doll. She was so excited.
No.
But the one I honestly treasure the most is the last doll my dad got me, which, I was 16, and they're just these two little dolls, and they were not play dolls, it's just that he got them for me, and that meant a lot to me.
I know, and at 16, you're like, come on, Dad.
Yeah.
It's so cute because you're always going to be his little girl.
Exactly.
Your mom's enthusiasm is infectious. It really is. I mean, she loves every one of these little things, and she has a little story for every little thing in her collection.
Yes.
We need so much more of this positivity in the world, and your mother just, I mean, she exudes happiness with all of these things. So, hey, if it brings her joy.
Oh, absolutely.
It brings me joy, and obviously it brings you joy too.
Yeah.
You come over and you probably learn something new every time
And
you
I
come to this
benefit,
house.
honestly, it's funny too, because I teach and I benefit from it because I take things to my classroom and I
Yeah.
have little gadgets all over my room and my kids are like, where'd you get this from? My mother,
can't
she
believe
found it. She found it somewhere. It's like,
we need a field trip here. Told you, the wedding room is amazing. Why the brides?
I just think brides are pretty.
They are. I mean, these are some sexy
Exactly.
brides here.
Yes.
You're all in.
Makes me happy.
It's not a little bit. You are all in, Caroline. What else? What else do you want to do? Where else do you want to go? And what else are you
I
going to
don't have any
acquire?
more room. I don't have much room.
You really
I
don't. I think you're outgrowing this house.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Is it possible for you to go on a trip and not bring back anything?
Oh, no. Oh, no.
You're going to bring a U-Haul whenever you go away.
Right, right.
Oh.
Yeah.
And the stories continue.
Yes.
And the collection.
And the collection.
For more information regarding any content from our show, please visit our website, CaseyMaloneShow.com. Your comments and ideas are appreciated. The Casey Malone Show is sponsored in part by Denise and John York and the DeBartolo Corporation.